All righty. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us this evening for our Horizons event. My name is Justin Maynor. I am the Marketing and Communications Director for Austin Urban Technology Movement. Today, we have a guest speaker that is a software engineer with General Motors. Before we get started, I wanted to share why we do these Horizons. AUTMHQ wants to make sure we are providing all of our automites with access and exposure to people who are in the tech space. So how we do this is we bring on guests to explain their background and talk about their jobs and how they got to where they are. Another reason why we do this program called Horizons is because of the problem we see in the tech industry. For number one, the underrepresentation with Black and Hispanics in the tech industry. The way that we are addressing this issue is having these types of events where individuals share their journey and speak on how they got into tech and the tips they have for others who are interested in getting into tech. The second reason is there's a lack of talent to meet the demand. There are a lot of individuals that don't have the knowledge of all the tech opportunities out there, and not enough people interested that have the skills and the experience to participate in the tech industry. Horizons is one of the programs we have where we are engaging and bringing people into this tech space. This isn't the only program we do for exposure into tech. We also host a day in a life events where individuals talk about their current career and what it's like to work in tech. All right, and now I'm going to bring on our guest, Robert. Hey, how's it going, Robert? Thank you for joining us tonight and being a speaker. Um, Introduce yourself to the audience and just give us a quick brief, your current role, the company you work for, and how you got into this role.
Thank you, Justin, and thank you for AutomateHQ for having me. But my name is Robert Adkins. I'm a current software engineer for General Motors, and how I got into this role, went to college, and traditional tech background, and then my senior year, I was applying to over like 50 plus jobs. That's not even counting the ones I didn't document, and then just went through the website and just was code applying there and just finally got the one job offer I needed. Even though it's over 50 jobs, you just need one job. So I ended up getting it late in the season. So in March is when I got this job offer. But there's a lot of trials and tribulations, and then I'll speak on that as well.
For sure. And I guess that's not too bad because they do say when you apply for a job after graduation, it does usually take a few months to get that position. Um, so yeah, that's very common. So now we're going to dive into it. Tell us a little bit about your current role, what you do in this current role as a software engineer, and what you like about your role.
Okay, cool. So what do I do in my current role? So it's heavy coding. So the team I'm on, we support a big web application, dealing with like the dealers and stuff like that. So it's this huge upgrade to an old application that they use. So for dealers to order cars and manage cars, order new cars, manage certain inventory and stuff like that. So that's what I currently do. So it's a lot of it's a big app. So we work on small parts of the app. We'll get like a bug to fix, well, what's going on, fix that bug, or we get like a feature to add to the app. So a lot of bug
Mhm,
fixing and a lot of enhancements as well. And so, what do I like about my role? It's very straightforward. So we'll get like a bug or like an enhancement, and we'll just
mhm,
the goal is just to fix it or add whatever it needs in the requirements. There's no runaround. There's no people I have to talk to get where I have to go. Only if I need help, but there's no figuring out what I need to do. That's what I really kind of like about my role. Also, it's very flexible with time, so I don't have to be in the
mhm,
office 5 days a week. Right now we're at
mhm,
2 to 3 days a week, which is good. So you can really work anywhere at certain times as well. So that's kind of what I really like about my role as well, and it's directly what I've envisioned, what I was doing when I was in high school slash college, thinking about what I want to do, what I wanted to do long term. So it's kind of
Mhm.
a great feeling when you dream of something and then years later you're doing exactly what you dreamed of. So
Right.
that's a couple things I like about what I do now.
Right. And so about this app that you work on, is this app accessible to everyone, or is this just like kind of like the back, kind of in the background of what's helping everything stay in place?
So it's available to everybody that works at dealerships. So
Mhm.
the car that I got 2 years ago, they were working on the old version of the app as well. So
Mhm.
if you were to go into a General Motors dealership right now, um,
Mhm.
and you wanted to inquire for a new car or anything like that, see what they have, then you would see that the app that I had a small part in, you would see it. So that's
That's
kind of cool as
awesome.
well.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right. So you told us a little bit about being a software engineer. What are your other hats and other hobbies that you do?
So I didn't want to fill the slide up too much, so I only had three. I also have a bunch of hobbies, but the top three I went with was one, I do personal training on the side as well, on top of software engineering. Um, I'm very big on fitness, very big on mental health, physical health. So that's really kind of like my passion. So that's how I kind of fit
Mhm.
that in with my schedule. So I do personal training, and then number two, outdoor activities such as like just being outside, like pickleball, volleyball, basketball, going out for a run, um, hanging with friends outside, just or going on Lady Bird Lake and canoeing, something that's just active. So I'm a very active person, so I just like being outside. Don't like being inside too much. So anything outdoor, I definitely love. And then number three is music. I listen to music every day. It's a big part of me. I listen to music on my happy days. I listen to music on my sad days. So I definitely listen to music all throughout the day. So that's definitely a big part of me as well.
Right. Now, you said you're a personal trainer. So you have two jobs. So you're working as a software engineer and you're also a personal trainer. So how are you able to manage being, working this, software engineering position, and then you're also being a personal trainer for others. So you're basically both jobs are kind of relying on you. One to help with the app, fix everything right then and there, and then these your clients are also relying on you um, to motivate them, and to push them to stay fit and care about their health as well. So how do you stay on top of that one, and how are you able to maintain that, mental health wise and just physically?
Great question. So honestly, I don't know how I made it this far doing it. It's definitely a toll mentally and also physically, being two places sometimes in the same day at once, and then
Mhm.
also time. I don't really have much time. So really how I currently balance it is so on the days that we're not in office for General Motors,
Mhm.
um, we're home, so I kind of just I don't do training during the day. I do it more so after work hours. So during the days we work from home for GM, I'm kind of just relaxing and preparing for the day. And so that
Mhm.
really helps as well, having those days where I don't have to go in the office. So that's a big part of it. And then as well, like I would say my passion for fitness kind of takes it over, because if I wasn't passionate, then I would have quit a long time ago. But um, as far as just the passion for fitness and helping people out and just building rapport with like the clients that I have that I'm training as well, that kind of helps me get through it. And then, I really love personal training. It's just doing it with another job is kind of the mental part of it. But the training, I love it. So I feel like the passion kind of takes over everything and kind of keeps me going and keeps me pushing through the hard
Right.
days.
And before I read this question, I want to ask: do you think you'd still do personal training if you had to be in the office 5 days a week?
Mm. It would be like I probably would still do it, but it would be personal training more so like part time. Like I'm training just Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or
Mhm.
just a couple of days out the week. But it wouldn't be every day because like that's really a a really a hit on the mental part of it. Because you don't really have time. I don't feel like I have time on top of it. So doing it every day, I feel like I won't have time, to be honest.
Right. And it would be mentally exhausting.
Hmm.
All right. Moving forward. All right. Give us a little bit about your background. I know you said, um, you went to Hampton University, and your desired career path. Tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah, so graduated from Hampton University in 2022 with a computer engineering degree. So it's been about a year and a half since I graduated, but it still feels like it was yesterday. So all the trials and tribulations I went through to get where I am today, I kind of that's still fresh. I'm never gonna forget it because that's how it made me the person I am today. So I'll speak on more of that later. And then as far as design my career path, I kind of always wanted to be a software engineer. I played video games when I was a kid, and growing up, and I would be playing computer games and also console games. So I was always involved with like tech with anything. So um,
Hmm.
and I would solve problems around the house. If we had the computer down, then I would be the one to fix it. So I was basically engineering already, which is basically solving problems. So when I was thinking about it and what I wanted to do, I kind of saw myself doing something with computers. So I just kind of stuck with it, and and gladly I didn't want to do something else.
Hmm. Yeah, because I already know that path is not the easy one, especially doing engineering. Um, Moving forward, let's talk about your tech journey. Tell us about how you got into it. Give us the breakdown for it.
Okay, cool. So, yeah, my dream, as I mentioned before, my dream was always to be a software engineer, but the way my school worked, it was more so catered to like hardware classes and stuff like that. So, I took a programming class in college, and that kind of gave me the foundational skills. But to really get a job in coding, you have to know like data structures and algorithms, and that didn't really work out at my school because it was just different. It was a different department, different curriculum. So I had to self-teach myself like junior year going into senior year and throughout my senior year as well. And this is class through Geeks for Geeks. That's like a popular coding site for you can look up a lot of stuff through there. But there's a course on there that I kind of really had to teach myself it. And then so while I was applying to a lot of jobs my senior year, I was also studying. So I was studying and doing interviews, trying to catch up. So um, I think I started studying like August was when I started applying for jobs, and then I didn't get my
Mhm.
current role till like March. So it took like I think that's like 7 months, 6, 7 months, 8 months. So it was
7
just
months.
failed interview after interview, going through the final round or something, and not getting
Mhm.
it. A lot of people, smiling in your face, thinking you got it, and still not getting it. A lot of applying to companies and not even hearing back from them at all. A lot
Mhm.
of getting feedback. A lot of times where I feel like I had it and just I didn't get it. So it was honestly it honestly wasn't easy at all. So even
Mhm.
though even though you go to college and you have a degree, still nothing is guaranteed at all. So um, yeah, it definitely wasn't easy at all. So
Right. And we have a question. Was that frustrating or, discouraging, as you're going through this and you're applying so many jobs and keep getting denials? Um, Mentally, how were you also able to, maintain that and keep going?
yeah, it was definitely frustrating because I felt like I was behind
Mhm.
compared to my peers. So it was definitely frustrating. So just I feel like what was pushing me through is just me being like determined to just keep going and just keep looking ahead. But it was definitely frustrating. It was definitely frustrating because sometimes you don't even get feedback from these companies. You don't even know why you didn't get it. And sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. So it's honestly a business, and like it's really nothing you can do. So it was
Yeah.
definitely frustrating.
Yeah. I'm glad you made that comment because I do feel like that is something a lot of people experience when going through the job interview process, especially with not getting feedback. I feel like most of the time they'll just tell you, unfortunately, we went with so and so. A lot of people don't really want to reach out after that one because they're already, discouraged. Um, but they're not even providing feedback in that email that they're sending you to let you know what you could work on that could potentially help you in your next position or role.
Exactly.
And then, all right, tell us, are there some things you would do differently from this path that you got on now? Tell us some things you would do differently?
Yeah, this is actually a lot I would do differently. Three is not enough. Um, so I'm gonna go with the first one, learning how to learn. That was kind of like my turning point where, as far as the information I was learning, it was kind of sticking to me and I was making some progress. Um, so just learning how to like teach yourself, learning how to process information, learning how to take in information that somebody says and processing it your own way, and being able to understand it as well to apply it to whatever you're doing. That's a key because if you don't know your learning style, you're kind of just going through the motion. And then like these courses slash certifications you're trying to get, it's not going to stick as well and it's going to take you longer and then you're just going in circles. So definitely learning how to learn, learning your learning style. If you like imagery when you're studying, you relate images to a certain topic you're trying to do, stick with that. If you like rewriting stuff over and over like I do, definitely rely on that. If you more like flashcards, if you more like videos, if you more like textbooks, I'm not sure, but you have to learn how to learn, because it's going to make your life so much easier because you're just going to rely on your studying patterns, and because that's how really you're going to learn the information. So no one's going to learn it for you. You're the only one that's going to learn this information and then also be tested on it with interviews as well. And then
Mhm,
number two, always come back to the fundamentals. So think about with like coding interviews, what they'll do is very detailed in these questions. So they'll ask you like a basic question that you didn't look over because you were looking over more advanced topics. So I would
mhm,
say I would have done is going back to the coursework that I did in that coding class, like the basics, and kind of refresh on that, refresh on
mhm,
fundamental topics because these coding interviews they're brutal. They'll like dive deep and try to ask you very specific questions as well. So it's very
mhm,
thorough and they'll really try to grill you for sure.
mhm,
And then number three, I'm gonna say utilizing LinkedIn. It really took me a while to really know how powerful really LinkedIn is. You can possibly get in contact with any and every recruiter for any company that you can imagine. So it's just a certain way you have to approach it. It's just a certain method. You really have to attack that. And that's a different conversation in itself. But
right.
utilizing LinkedIn, connecting with people, just also connecting with people that share the same interests as you. So if someone else likes
Mhm,
something, an opportunity on LinkedIn, it's going to show up on your feed. So it's very important to uh, utilize LinkedIn not only for reaching out to recruiters and building relationships, but also connecting with peers that are on the same path as you. So like I said, just getting those connections up. The more connections, the better. And then just knowing how to build a relationship through LinkedIn is a skill in itself.
mhm. Now, did it take you a while for you to learn how to learn, like figure out your learning style, or were you already knowing like this is my learning style and this is how, or did it take a while to figure that out?
It took a while. I would say I didn't really learn how to learn until like junior year of college, which sounds crazy. Um, because when you're going through, especially like school with anything, you're just trying to get these assignments done. You're just going through the motion.
Mhm,
And that's like a love-hate relationship. With school, it's kind of just you're just going through the motion, trying to just get through school, actually versus actually retaining the information. So yeah, it took me a while to really learn my learning style. and then it really started clicking when I took that self-taught class. So
Mhm.
I don't know how it took that long. I don't know how I got that far without really learning how to learn, but it started clicking, I would say, junior year-ish when I was taking that um, self-taught course.
Got it. All right. And now, as someone who's in tech, you went through trial and tribulations. What is the biggest pieces of advice you would give someone who is interested in getting into the tech industry?
Okay, cool. So, yeah, these are my biggest pieces of advice. Honestly, I could go in a lot more, but number one, I would say start now. Like whatever you're thinking about doing, whatever a course you're trying to take, a certification you're trying to get, a life change you're trying to do, a career change you're trying to do, whatever it is, start now. Because you're gonna waste time, honestly, pushing things back. Even if it's just a little bit of progress, but just starting now. You can just start with doing research on what you need to do. That's a start, or just making slow progress as well. But just start that process now because time waits on nobody.
Mm,
And like time flies, so definitely start now. Now is the best time. Don't wait because you're gonna regret it and you're gonna look back like a year or two later, like I should have started it way before.
mhm,
Um, and number two, short-term memory loss. So what this really means is like when you're going through your journey and
mhm,
like a lot of things are not going to go your way, like through interviews and stuff like that. You're going to get denied. You're going to get led on like you got the job, in the last minute they're
mhm,
going to deny you. You got to like not you got to forget these things out your mind. So if you fail an interview or you don't get the job, you just have to forget that and keep on going. Like that's what really helped me out through my interview process. And yeah, like I was getting denial after denial. So what really kept me going, I just didn't really worry about it and just use that energy that I could be doing with being mad about the interview or asking why, and just using that energy to my next interview actually. So
right,
short-term memory loss, just forget about what happened short term because it's not going to matter in the long term. All you need is kind of one job. So any interview that you do is a learning experience. And if it doesn't go the right way, just forget it and keep moving. Just keep moving. So kind of forget the bad and just keep looking forward, I would say, what means with short-term memory loss. And then number three, I would say be personable. Um, I would say, especially in this tech world, it's 75% uh let's see, behavioral skills and networking, and it's like 25% technical, I would say. Um, because I feel like these people, they want good people on their teams. They want leaders, they want people with positive attitudes, they want people who are willing to learn. Um, if you're not even those things, if you're not even checking off those things, they're not even gonna look at you as far as technical skills. And then even then, technical skills can be taught on the job. So they're not gonna um they're not gonna even look at you once if you aren't personable. So that means, for example, if you're connecting with somebody on LinkedIn, looking through their interests and message them about it and relating to them. So just being able to relate to somebody is a big, I would say, networking hack that you can do, and just being open to sharing things and just being personal, being nice, being interested in other people and asking about their journey, asking about how they're doing, asking about how their day is, like simple stuff like that, and just being able to relate to people. That will take you farther than any tech skill that you could possibly learn. So um, be personable is probably a big one too.
yeah, and I appreciate that because I feel a lot of people, when it comes to short-term memory loss, that might, they might not pick up that skill because of going through so much trials and tribulations, going through a lot of denial. It's kind of hard to forget and not give up. So I'm really glad you shared that piece of advice, especially to be personable. Oh no. All right, am I back?
You're still a little frozen on my end, but I can hear you.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know what just happened. Well, Robert, thank you so much for joining us this evening, sharing your insights, and thank you for everything you spoke on this evening. Because I feel like a lot of people definitely needed to hear that one, and I feel like they also needed to see it and hear it from someone who might be going through what they're going through. So thank you so much, and yeah,
Yeah, thank you for having me. I appreciate the opportunity, honestly. And then some of the topics, if anybody had any questions, definitely connect with me on LinkedIn. I'm more than open to talking to people and really helping out people on their tech journeys as well. So thank you for having me.
yes, sir. Thank you for joining. All right, you have a good night.
You too. Thank you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you all for tuning in tonight for our Horizons event. If you're interested in sharing your journey, please scan this QR code and submit your form. Definitely would love to hear from you and have you share your story and tell us about your journey on how you got into tech. Um, and thank you all for tuning in. Catch us at the next one. Please follow us on social media to stay up to date with our latest events and visit our website at www.automhq.org to see any other upcoming events. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in.